So basically, the question that we are here to discuss is the role of social media in democratic transition. I want to throw some issues on the table. You all know that, especially in the Western world, but not only in the Western world and the Western media, the mainstream narrative about the Arab so-called Springs was since early 2011 that social media played a bigger role. Okay, so in fact, many people, journalists, scholars, analysts from everywhere, even defined the revolution that took place in Tunisia and Egypt, like Twitter or Facebook revolutions and this kind of, definitions. So there was a kind of hype on the role that social media played in the revolution. And I want to point your attention to an article that was out a few weeks ago on foreign policy, written by Mark Lynch, who is an American scholar. Actually, the name of the article is quite interesting because it's called the Twitter devolutions. His basic argument is that, okay, if we think that social media, especially Twitter and Facebook, played a role in the revolutions in the Arab world, so let's now think the negative role that they are playing right now in this reconstruction phase or transition. And basically, his argument was that social media actually are fostering a kind of discourse which is polarizing people, like basically black and white. Basically, they are creating what we call it in academia information cocoon, which means that basically if I have an idea about something and I disagree with you, that you have another idea, we will stay with our little company on Facebook or Twitter and not open up for dialogue. And actually, the technological nature of this platforms like Twitter or Facebook are actually helping this kind of polarization. So if this is one of the arguments of the article. So now the question that I want to throw to your attention, and I would like to discuss with you, since we have also a lot of people that come both from the southern shore and the northern shore, is that do you think that these social media, the way they are technologically shaped, this platform, are suitable for dialogue? Do you think that Mark Lynch says that social media love crisis? Because it's so exciting to use Twitter when there is something happening, like a clash in Tahrir, but not when you have to build a movement. So this is the first question. Second question is also, I was discussing with the gentleman now in the break, this just that position between bloggers and journalists, always, these things, whether bloggers are taking over journalists and so on and so forth. But actually, something that I would like you to reflect on is that who created this narrative about bloggers being journalists? It's us as journalists. I read the Western press and the Arabic press during the first year of the revolution, and especially in the Western world, everybody was like the Egyptian blogger, the Tunisian blogger, giving attention, awards, conferences. So actually, it's also mainstream media that created this narrative because it was easy to sell. It was easy to sell to our audiences the idea that activists using modern platforms were toppling a dictatorship. And now this narrative is turning against us, against those people who have created it. So I think this is also an interesting topic to discuss. And I will stop now because it's more interesting to listen to your comments. So please, if you want to talk, can you just raise your hand? Or, et vous pouvez parler français aussi, je crois. I urge you not to think at social media as an ontology. When you say that social media is amazing for crisis reporting, this is not because the very nature of social media is about crisis. And I want to give, it's because we, mainstream media, journalists, made the audience think that social media is great for crisis reporting, but it's not an ontology. And I want to give you an example. This is what we report as journalists to be cool. When we have people tweeting from Tahrir Square, we report that, but we don't put our eyes when there is a less fancy, less sexy use of social media. I want to give you a couple of examples, and I'm sure you don't know them, okay? For example, in my country, Italy, I'm sure you know that a comedian won the elections, or kind of. This guy, 7 years ago, he created a movement. He doesn't have a party, but he has a movement, and he created the movement around his blog called beppegrillo.it. So actually, he managed to mobilize people through his blog, okay? What happened? 2 days ago, when he is now almost not in control, he needs to be allied to other parties if he wants to run the country now. What he said 2 days ago, or yesterday, is that he's not going to talk to Pierluigi Bersani, who is the head of the center-left coalition, because he doesn't like him, because we will not compromise, you know. And he said that on his blog, because he doesn't talk to traditional media. He thinks that traditional media is bullshit. What happened? His basis, the militants, the people who voted for him, immediately made a revolt on his blog. They said, no, Beppe, now we got the vote, now we need to run the country. So we disagree with you. I think this is an healthy way of media, of new media. I think new media can be used to mobilize people, as he did 7 years ago, to win the election, as he did a few days ago, but also to disagree with leaders, which his base did 2 days ago. And immediately I got a petition online to sign through change.org website. One of his supporters said, I voted for him, but it's not like something like that I cannot question. And now I want him to be accountable. I want him to run the country. So I urge everybody, even the people who didn't vote for him, to actually sign this petition to put pressure on him. And this is, I think, a very healthy role that the internet is playing. So, but nobody reports about the healthy role, because we, in mainstream media, we are obsessed about crisis, violence, problems. This is our problem. It's not the internet problem. And I'm sorry, Sarah, I disagree with you, because life is mediocre. The internet is mediocre because life is mediocre, because we are mediocre. But where is the big difference between the internet and mainstream media? Is that I pay for mainstream media. I pay, my taxes goes to Rai Television, and if they make a mistake and they are mediocre, which they are, then it's my money. It's my public broadcaster. But if I want to do lolcats, millions of people do lolcats on the internet, I can say, okay, these are stupid people, I agree. But they are free to do it, because it's their free time, it's an hobby. Internet is a place, it's not a media. Journalism and television are media, and we pay for them. So this is a big difference. I can be mediocre on my blog or on Facebook. This is not a problem. But I cannot be mediocre on Rai TV, because I will be held accountable by my people. So I also urge you as traditional journalists to look at our mistakes as traditional journalists, and also to concentrate on healthy uses of social media, because social media is not only about crisis. In Tunisia, for example, there is a huge bipartisan movement called OpenGov.Tunis. This is made by people in the parliament from different coalitions, and they are pushing to have all the decisions taken by the assembly published online for free, accessible to the citizens. This is also an healthy use. But why we don't know about this? Because we don't pay attention as journalists. So this is my point.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Merci beaucoup, Donatella.